Hello student, today we are learning A to Z. What? A to Z. Now let's start. A. A for apple. A for apple. Now B. B for ball. B for ball. Okay. Now C. C for what? Let's find out. C is here. C for cat. C for cat. Now D. D for what? D for what? D for what? D for dog. D for dog. E. E for what? E for what? E for elephant. E for elephant. F. F for what? F for what? F for fish. Okay. F for fish. Now G. G for what? G for goat. G for goat. Okay. Now H. H for what? H for horse. H for what? Horse. Okay. Now I. I for ice cream. I for ice cream. Now J. J for what? J for what? J for jungle. J for jungle. Okay, guys. K for what? K for what? K for kite. K for kite. K for kite. Now L. L for what? Lion. L for what? Lion. Okay. Now M. M for what? M for monkey. M for monkey. Now N. N for what? N for what? Nose. N for what? Nose. Now O. O for what? O for what? Orange. O for what? Orange. Now P. What for P? P. Parrot. P for parrot. Okay. P for what? Parrot. Now Q. Q for what? Q for what? Q for what? Queen. Q for what? Queen. Q for what? Queen. Okay. R. R for rose. R for what? Rose. Okay. S. S for what? Snake. S for what? Snake. Yes for snake. Okay. T. T for what? Tiger. T for what? Tiger. U. U for what? U for what? Umbrella. U for what? Umbrella. U for what? Umbrella. B for what? B for ban. B for what? Ban. W for watch. W for watch. Okay. X. X for X-ray. X for X-ray. Now Y. Y for yak. Okay. Y for what? Yak. Z. Now Z for what? Z for what? Zebra. Z for what? Zebra. Okay, guys. Now we will start A to Z again. Okay. Let's start. A for apple. Okay. A for what? Apple. B for what? Ball. B for what? Ball. C for what? Cat. What? C for cat. D for dog. D for dog. E for elephant. E for elephant. F for fish. F for fish. G for what? G for what? Girl. G for girl. H for horse. H for horse. I for ice cream. I for ice cream. J for jungle. J for jungle. K for kite. K for kite. L for lion. L for lion. M for monkey. M for monkey. N for nose. N for nose. O for orange. O for orange. P for parrot. P for parrot. Q for queen. Q for queen. R for rose. R for rose. S for snake. S for snake. T for tiger. T for tiger. U for umbrella. U for umbrella. V for van. V for van. W for watch. W for watch. X for X-ray. X-ray. X for X-ray. Y for yak. Y for yak. Z for zebra. Z for zebra.